David Worth has been behind bars for nearly 4 years, determined to clear his name. But just days before his trial was finally set to start, the courts in Gwinnett and across the state were ordered to close. David's parents understand why. Both are medical professionals.
They wanted Brian to appear by basically Zoom.
Because they didn't want me to be in there as a first responder, directly every day exposed to COVID patients.
With the trial on hold, David's attorney asked to have the charges dropped, or at least to grant bond. But the DA's office said David's only option was probation after his guilty plea.
Well, that would only escalate things and push him into a prison situation for a crime he didn't commit.
David is accused of using the dark web to send a letter to a former teacher threatening to kill her. It is just one of nearly 1,600 active cases in Gwinnett County trying to make its way through the court system. And that doesn't count the nearly 900 cases waiting for a grand jury to indict.
Do you have concern about the length of time that it's taking?
Sure, that's an absolute concern. Each one of those cases that is in the backlog represents some real meaningful questions that impact lives that need to be resolved.
Chief Justice Harold Melton has led the Judicial COVID-19 Task Force. The state's original pandemic plan prepared for a 90-day shutdown.
We're well past that.
May it please the court.
While most court proceedings moved online, anything requiring a jury trial has remained on hold, and Metro counties say it will likely stay that way, at least until January.
I can't say enough about how important it is that we get started back, that we find a way to do this during the pandemic.
Courts have started to submit plans for how to do it. Judge Jeffrey Bagley says Forsyth will only hold one criminal jury trial at a time. An architect has offered ways to transform this large room into a court, and they're debating how close jurors should sit, even with plexiglass between them. The court will pass out transparent masks so that the jurors can better understand what's being said and how it's being said. And some trial participants may get a rapid test each day.
If the defendant tests negative, the defense attorney tests negative, they can both be sitting at counsel table together and communicating as they normally would.
In Jackson County, witnesses can testify from where they're seated instead of taking the stand. And Hall County is holding a pilot trial in November to learn what works before setting the court calendar next year. Safety is key because all of this hinges on jurors showing up.
You're asking the citizens of the state to get up off their couch and come to a building, and you're not really asking them, you're telling them that they must come.
David's family thought by now he would be home, making the past 7 months even harder.
Oh, here's David.
David is able to make calls, and they schedule several video chats a day.
My last bill from Securus Tech was $260-something, and that's per week.
Several of the pandemic plans openly admit it could take years to clear the backlog in cases.
Everyone is essentially sitting waiting on a non-existent court date.
David feels some people are taking pleas just to get out of jail.
I feel like it is a coercion tactic.
But Chief Justice Melton says that frustration goes both ways.
I know the state probably feels like they're being asked to provide some options that they otherwise wouldn't put on the table, but we don't want COVID to be leveraged.
Gwinnett's inmate population started falling in March. More lenient bond restrictions and plea deals likely helped. The DA's office says it has worked to resolve more than 1,500 cases without a jury trial. But it is unclear how many of those defendants were behind bars.
We love you, baby. I love you so much.
The Wars say none of that has helped their son, or the teacher who wants peace of mind that the person who sent the letter is held accountable. For that, they will both have to wait. For that, they need a jury. If the number of COVID cases increases dramatically, of course, that timeline could get pushed back even further. Keep in mind, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, nearly a third of all felony trials do not end with a conviction.